So, like, I promise I won't make a video about how John Groff just, like, had a waterfall kind of in his mouth, because, you know, that's the funny joke, but, like, come on. Come on. So, if you haven't heard, there's a little known musical, little tad bit of a thing called Hamilton, right? And the show, which the original cast starred Lin-Manuel Miranda, Moana's own Lin-Manuel Miranda, believe it or not, garnished a little bit of attention, one could say, garnished a bit of a reputation around the Broadway community as being, I don't know, a little bit of a American classic, American legend. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today, so let's go. First thing I gotta say, dropping on Disney Plus was a great thing for Hamilton to do. Now, I was thinking about this, right? I was thinking about all of the different streaming services that it could have been on, right? You have the Netflixes, you have the Hulus, you have the the HBO Maxes, but Hamilton rested on Disney Plus. Now, I have something to say about this, which is that it's kind of cool that Hamilton almost seemingly fits into Disney's profile if you think about it. Obviously, you have the MCU lineup, which dives deep into the PG-13 area of Disney Plus, because there isn't a lot of dark themes, I guess, on Disney Plus, unless you count the not Song of the South things that are on Disney Plus. But you also have a little bit of curse words and a little bit of action sequences that Hamilton could be made for. And of course, the relationship between Disney Plus and Hamilton goes deeper than just what's on the surface. For one, you have Lin-Manuel, who obviously had a relationship with Disney since Hamilton. And here's what I mean. So Lin-Manuel writes Hamilton, he releases Hamilton as a musical, it garners mass attention from a lot of different people, from a lot of different companies, a lot of different just organizations in general are now looking to this musical and saying, wow, what a great piece of art it is, because it is. Musically, just practically, the message is great, all of the ways in which the musical was made, you can dive into each one, from set design to musical choices, obviously Broadway, and the actors themselves. Now, in that, Disney obviously saw Lin and was like, hey, we like this kid. We like what he does. Let's see what he can do for us, right? Then here's how the story begins. Disney signs a deal with Lin saying, hey, we got this little known project coming up called Moana. You want in? Lin obviously says, let's go. And they form a little bit of a partnership. Lin obviously writes a lot of the music in Moana, if not all, I'm not completely sure, but he writes a lot of the music in Moana. He even performs on one of the tracks, and it's just a great partnership. The movie does really well. I remember it coming out in November. That was a great movie. And to be honest, it just went over fine for him, which started the Disney relationship. At least that's as far back as I can recall publicly. Now, I haven't done any private searches to see what went on behind the scenes, but, you know. So around this time, obviously, the Lin-Manuel Miranda cast, the OBC, performed of some of their last shows. So they obviously recorded one of them so they could have it for prosperity's sake. And that's the tape that we see on Disney Plus, but I'll get to that. So a couple years goes by, and obviously another one of the great tales that America has ever given us is that of Mary Poppins, the nanny who comes to change these kids' lives. Now, when 2018 came along and they said, them being Disney, said, hey, we want to revitalize this brand and we want to remake it, or at least make a sequel. It was kind of wishy-washy on the details. They were like, hey, we got this great guy who can sing and dance and has already written some of our music. Let's get him on the project. They call Lin-Manuel. He goes, let's go. And then all of the sudden, he's on the, what do you call it? He's on the movie. So, once he gets on the movie, we'll obviously get a great representation of the lamplighter. I forget his name, but it was a good cast choice. I thought he did really well in the role. But from then on out, the formation was met between Disney and Lin. They were kind of just like this now. So in comes the movie of Hamilton for Disney Plus. Now, it was supposed to be released in 2021, but since everything that's going on, I think they wanted to capitalize on July 4th, and since everyone's home, obviously the Disney parks are shut down, so they're trying to get some money in some ways. They were like, hey, we got this thing, little known project called Hamilton, and it's been in this bidding war for a while. Let's just go ahead and buy it. And so what ends up happening, and what I think about, is that all of these streaming companies were buying the chance to stream this on their service from the beginning. Netflix, Hulu, like I said, all of them were trying to get this tape because it was so popular and still is so popular. So I think in doing the relationship between Disney and Lin, I think there was something of a mutual agreement where they're like, yeah, we like being in each other's company. So when Disney bought Lin-Manuel's video, it was just kind of like, oh, this makes sense. They're already in good standing with each other. They did buy it for about $75 million or so, I've read. And to me, it just seems like a natural progression of person to studio. It almost seems like Lin has some kind of direct line to Disney. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he owned some part of Disney in some way, like some stock or something. But yeah, that is basically how that came to be, and I'm glad it is, because I think that Hamilton just kind of fits the norm of all the musicals and things that are on Disney Plus. Now let's actually talk about the musical. Now, I actually had the pleasure of going to see the Broadway hit itself, and here's my little booklet to show you guys. It came to my city, and it was great. It was in August 2019. I got to go see it live. I wasn't sitting up front, close and personal with the cast, but I did get to go see what I thought was a good representation of the music that I had been hearing, which is something to be said, because you go in there, and what you hear in the tapes is what you're going to hear live, just with obviously Broadway interpretations, some ad-libs. So I thought it was a really good take. And when the original broadcast video came out on Disney Plus, I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm actually going to enjoy this as much as seeing it live. But here's where I was wrong about it completely. There's something to be said about whoever shot it. Hold on. So I'm looking at it now, right? And I'm actually looking at the fact that his name is Declan Quinn, and I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right now. You guys can't see it, but he did some movies such as Man from Planes in 2007, Pride and Glory 2008, Shrek the Musical in 2013. That makes a lot of sense with what I was about to say. And then obviously Hot Tub Time Machine, obviously the classic. But that being said, there's something to be said about his shots, where he goes from the wide cut of the show and then he pans around, and you get so much more emotions than each character in a simple shot where it moves from one side of the face to the other. I think it really helps the Broadway cast show off to everyone who's watching them. It lets them know more about the characters, lets them know about what they're feeling, all of the emotions, right? And so I just think that Declan did a great job. I want to recognize him because I think he doesn't get enough credit for all the credit he gave us. That's another Hamilton reference, of course. And yeah, I just think he was a great cinematographer. So, I mean, hats off to you, my man. But anyway, so we're talking about the Hamilton musical, and there's just so much to be said about the music. Obviously, someone needs to go listen to all of it if you haven't, and then you kind of get a sense for what's going on. But then watching this, you kind of get senses of emotions from characters that you never would have felt listening to it. Obviously, because that's part of Broadway itself, right? You get these characters, live character performances that make you feel like you're in their shoes, or make you feel like you're right in front of that person, like you're in front of Alexander Hamilton. In the case of Aaron Burr, listening to the tapes, I always felt that he kind of was made to feel sorry for a little bit, like he was put on a pedestal of Hamilton, but he just almost didn't get enough of a credit or what have you. But actually watching it and watching Aaron Burr's expressions, at least for that night of that performance, I kind of started to not like Burr as much. I kind of felt just that he was doing it to himself. I didn't feel as sorry for him, because I felt like a lot of the decisions he made didn't really seem to go against anyone. It just seemed like he made the decision to wait, obviously, and that just bit him. So I don't know, it completely changed my point of view on a character, and that's what I liked about this video. I like the fact that I can finally see something that I've kind of seen before, not closely, but also that I've listened to, and I can actually experience the original broadcast voices. Also, you get to see great moments, like with Philip and his slow motion little dance that he does when he is about to die, or when he gets shot, I guess. You also get to see Mulligan when he throws himself back and they throw him back up. I love that in Battle of Yorktown. Then you get to see just a bunch of little things. Like I already mentioned, the Jonathan Groff spit take and the little dance that he does on some of the songs. It's just little things like that where you actually get to see what was behind the music that you were listening to, because a lot of the music, when they recorded it in a studio, doesn't really convey the emotions that can be seen directly on stage, especially when some of them are ad-libbed, right? If Hamilton ad-libs a line during one of his songs or ad-libs the way he says one of his lines, it's going to come across completely different to that night's audience. Versus in the track, he'll always say it the same way because that's how it was recorded. And I think they record it in a more safe way, a safe way that can come across well on tape for just anyone who listens to it versus having the experience of night to night. So this really just gives me a better take on Broadway as a whole, just the ability to perform every night and perform well. So I mean, again, hats off to everyone in the Hamilton showcase and the Broadway musical itself. And what I gotta say is it makes me wish that I had done more of Broadway, or not Broadway, but of musical acting or drama, because it is, I understand how well it is to craft a character and to be in their shoes and to try and act it out, and I really wish I would have done more of that, and this is just kind of an example towards that. I'm glad more people can see it because now they have the opportunity to do just the same thing. But that's my take on Hamilton. Let me know what you guys think about it. I really encourage anyone to go see it. Obviously, if you haven't already, it really drove Disney Plus streaming sites, like their subscriptions, up the wazoo. So if you have seen it, please let me know what you think about it. And of course, as always, if you like what I had to say about it, press like, comment of anything you want to comment, and subscribe for more because we got more reviews coming up and more of everything. Fire Red, Let's Play, everything we got going on. So with that being said, I'll leave you guys with this. I'm not throwing away the shot on this channel. I'm going to keep it fresh. We're going to keep it going, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.